All right, guys, we're just going to wait for some more people to come in. Emergency live stream. Haven't done one of these in a while, but I feel like this news calls for it. And there will be a video dropping in a little bit about the video that I said was going to come out. It is still going to come out around 6 o'clock Eastern time. Actually, it might come out a bit before that. But we are doing an emergency live stream to break down this news of Justin Tucker officially being released by the Baltimore Ravens. Appreciate all you guys tuning into this stream. How's it going, Marble Sky? Welcome into the chat. We're going to talk about Justin Tucker getting released. The news just broke a few minutes ago. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. We're going to talk about this Winnipeg Jets after that game yesterday, absolutely. So, emergency live stream. We're going to be off for the next 30 minutes or so, just breaking this down, seeing as this is obviously a big development around the NFL, that Justin Tucker, the longtime kicker on the Ravens, after being with the team since 2012, officially has been released by the Baltimore Ravens. There were two main reasons why this was the thing. Number one, obviously the allegations were way too big to ignore. There were allegations all across Baltimore for years that Tucker was doing things to women and whatnot. The other thing is that Tucker was not playing that well, and they got a new kicker. They got Tyler Loop in the 6th round out of the University of Arizona. Loop was pretty good with the Wildcats last season, 18 for 23 on field goals, a career 84% field goal kicker with the Wildcats, including a perfect season as a freshman in 2021 and 86% during the 2022 season. He's the new kicker. You figure the writing was on the wall when they drafted Loop. And now it is official. The Baltimore Ravens have officially released Justin Tucker. What's interesting about this move is that, right, and it's obviously, it is alleged. What is interesting about this move is that when Eric DeCosta put out the statement about Justin Tucker, nothing whatsoever said anything about the allegations. Nothing at all said anything about the allegations. I'm going to show you what the statement is put out by the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm going to show you this is a very interesting statement. Had nothing whatsoever to do with off-the-field things. So, you read this statement. Sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult. And this is one of those instances. So it makes it very clear in the very first sentence. This is not an accident. Every word in a PR statement is very carefully crafted. The fact that football decisions is the first phrase uttered. This is a football decision. This has nothing to do with the allegations, which is very interesting that they're just glossing over this. They're making this all football moves, and you have to remember too, Justin Tucker was not that good last year. Justin Tucker, the year before, was 1 for 5 from 50-plus yards. Last season, 73%. As a kicker, the worst percentage of his career. He was 22 for 30. He was about 50% from 40-plus yards. He was very, very poor last season. Pro Bowl kicker all these years, 7-time Pro Bowler, but last season, that field goal percentage, if you look at it, and and Kendra has it right. Yeah, Kendra's good. Kendra's a good follow. She's a Jaguar fan. I follow her for years. She's great. Who's the best kicker in the draft? I like Loop a lot. I do like Loop a fair amount. Let's get him mixed up, y'all. The question with Tucker, the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Tucker, we're going to get to that because that's definitely going to be a thing. Because obviously Tucker, I don't think is playing again. I don't think Justin Tucker is ever playing again, seeing as he is on the older side of things, and also seeing as the allegations are just a lot. Come on with it, too. I appreciate you, man. D-backs are favorite all 3 games against the Mets. Congrats. That means nothing. Vegas odds don't mean anything. It's going to be an evenly matched series. I'm excited for it. I'm excited. Yeah, probably off the field issues too. They're just not going to publicly address it. And I will get you on the game when we just flip this over really quickly. Every donation counts when you make the call. So we're going to get you on the Orioles game. So let's just go back to that statement really quickly. Sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult. And this is one of those instances. Considering our current roster. So making very clear, this is about drafting Tyler Loop, that they think he's a better kicker. It's not about the off-the-field allegations, at least according to this statement. The plausible deniability is since they drafted a kicker, and the fact that Tucker is coming off the worst year of his career. They have plausible deniability about the fact that it's not about the allegations whatsoever, because of how poor he was last year. If you look at the stats last year, put him in the context of the grand scheme of things in the NFL, Justin Tucker, in terms of field goal percentage, ranked 30th out of 36 kickers. The only guys worse, Evan McPherson, Jake Moody, Cade York, who played on 2 teams, Dustin Hopkins, Brandon Navarson, and Greg Zuerlein. Those are the only guys worse than Tucker from a field goal percentage standpoint last year. How's it going, Rest of the World? Appreciate you tuning in. Cowboys fan here. Tucker is on the downslope. Yes, he is. Absolutely on the downslope. Justin created many significant unforgettable moments in Ravens history. Reliability, focus, drive, resilience, and extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade. We are grateful for Justin's many contributions while playing. We sincerely wish him and his family the very best in the next chapter of our lives. Yeah, that is true about the Mike Green pick. That is true. Seeing the allegations at Marshall, he slipped to the second round. So that's the statement. That's the statement. You figured this was coming after his poor play last year, the money he's owed, and the fact that Tyler Loop is the guy that they got drafted. Yep, that's the big thing, Marcus. That's the big thing in all this. The big thing is that they never mention anything off the field. They actually praised Tucker for all the times he spent in Baltimore. He never said anything about off the field. They made it very clear this is a football decision first and foremost. This is entirely a football decision. With the Jags take Tucker? No, we have a very good kicker. We have Cam Little. We drafted him last year. He was incredible last year. He hit 93% of his kicks, only missed on 2. I mean, he was sensational. Made every extra point. Cam Little, look, the Jaguars are not a good team, but kicker is not our issue. Kicker is the least of our issues. Kicker is one of the only positions. Kicker and punter are really the only 2 positions. I'm like, you know what? I'm 100% comfortable. Let's ride. Again, appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you're just joining us, the Baltimore Ravens just a few minutes ago have officially released Justin Tucker. This is a fluid situation, ongoing situation, so we are figuring everything out as we go along. Maybe the Bears, potentially the Bears. I mean, Cairo Santos does not have a strong leg, but then again, Justin Tucker doesn't have a strong leg anymore. He's a bit washed at that point. And the question is with Justin Tucker at this point, we're assuming he's not going to play again. I don't know who would want to take him. They are still doing the investigation. The alleged sexual conduct is still ongoing. Connor with a tour. Will allegations keep Tucker out of the Hall of Fame? I was just about to get to that. You read my mind, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Because I was going to say, we're assuming Tucker never plays again. We're assuming he never plays again. And at that point, the question is he a Hall of Famer? Obviously, you cannot ignore the allegations. The allegations, are they on the level of Darren Sharper and Jim Tyrer? No, they're not on those levels. Antonio Brown, that's a little bit different because he would be in the Hall of Fame even with the allegations if he didn't quit in the middle of the game. I think Brown's just too much of a head case. But the question is at this point, this is it for Tucker. He's on the All 2010s team. He's a 5-time All-Pro. And if you look at the All-Pros, he has the most All-Pros of any kicker in NFL history. He is the most All-Pros of all time by any kicker ever. We're going to do a different stream for OT. We're going to do a different OT stream. Because I do have to get a video, or the video will come out. So the question is Tucker going to make the Hall of Fame? Because the allegations, they are a lot. They are a lot. And depending on how the investigation goes, it could be very, very interesting. Obviously, there are kickers in the Hall of Fame. You have Vinatieri, who will get in at some point. You have Morten Anderson. You have Jan Stenerud. You have guys who are in the Hall of Fame for kicking, so that's not the issue. It's not like we're putting in a long snapper or a punter here. But the fall-off was just so drastic for Tucker. And at the end of the day, he's only 12th all-time in field goals made. I'm going to say 25 Jets. He's only 12th all-time in field goals made. Like, even despite how good he was, the fall-off was so drastic. I mean, there are guys that have no chance of making the Hall of Fame. John Carney, he has no chance of making the Hall. Jason Hansen, no one's talking about him as a Hall of Famer. Matt Stover, no one's talking about him. John Casey, of course not. Robbie Gould, no one's talking about him. Phil Dawson, Jason Elam, Sebastian Janikowski, no one's talking about those guys. They're all ahead of Justin Tucker. Matt Prater with 10 more field goals will go ahead of Tucker. Nick Folk with 14 more will go ahead of Tucker. So Tucker's only going to keep falling down. Next Ravens kicker, they drafted Tyler Loop. They drafted him in the 6th round. So there is no long snapper in the Hall of Fame. There is no long snapper in the Hall of Fame. So this is one of those things where it's not as though you're putting in... Maybe at his peak, he was the best kicker of all time. Maybe at his peak, but all time, he was not the best kicker. And Gary Anderson's now in the Hall of Fame, and he has way more field goals, did it for way more years, has a much stronger resume, more than about a decade more than what Tucker played. So it's interesting what the case is going to be, especially with the allegations, especially if they are deemed to be true. So it is going to be interesting. Point of clarification on Tony Brown, maybe after being a head case, but no debates he was good enough player to be in the Hall of Fame otherwise. Absolutely. Absolutely. Highest field goal percentage of all time, longest field goal of all time. That is also true. There were a lot of good moments with Tucker with the Ravens. A lot of them against the Lions. Vinatieri is not in the Hall of Fame, but he made it to the finals on the first ballot. Right, obviously, Tucker's got the highest field goal percentage of all time. That is true, 89%. His percentage is 89%. He has the highest percentage of all time. But the longevity compared to other kickers is not necessarily there. When Gary Anderson retired, he was the all-time leading scorer, and he's not in the Hall of Fame, and no one's talking about being in the Hall of Fame. Tucker is not in the top 10. There was a time where Dan Bailey was the most accurate kicker in NFL history. Obviously, that's not a thing. That's not going to happen, obviously. So, the interesting thing with Tucker is, again, 5 first-team All-Pros. No kicker is more first-team All-Pros. No kicker is more first-team All-Pros than Justin Tucker. So, there's an interesting debate for the Hall of Fame in terms of, on one hand, maybe the greatest peak of all time, more All-Pros than anyone else on an all-decade team. The counter-argument is didn't play long enough compared to other kickers. Then again, we are letting guys in that had great peaks, but didn't play a long time compared to other guys of their position, like Tony Baselli, Sterling Sharp, Terrell Davis. The allegations, obviously, and the fall-off was just so drastic with Tucker. So this is going to be interesting to see. Tucker going to retire? I'm not sure he's going to get picked up by anyone. How long will it be until someone's a higher field goal percentage? In terms of the numbers, I don't know what you need to get to be eligible for that. Because obviously Cam Little has a higher percentage, but he's only kicked one season. So I don't know exactly how many field goals you need to be eligible for the all-time list. What I do know is that Tucker is not even in the top 20 in terms of field goals attempted. Seabass should be in the Hall? Nah, I can't put Seabass in the Hall. There are other kickers I'd be more than comfortable putting in the Hall of Fame. Gary Anderson I'd be comfortable putting in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Tucker's 35. Yeah, that's not old for a kicker, but when you're on the decline and you're losing power. Again, this is a guy that was hitting less than 50% of his kicks from 50-plus yards over the last 2 seasons. Ryan Vanderjagt. Yeah, exactly. Vanderjagt was super accurate, and then that fell off a cliff. Only beat the record for longest field goal. I think it's possible. In the right conditions, I think it's possible with the right wind and with kickers hitting 60 now. Over how many kicks? Over how many kicks? So he's got 468. Oh, that's going to be tough. Let's see the current list for field goal attempts. See who's close. Nick Folk is at 84.3, although he's led the league in each of the last 2 seasons in percentage. He's not going to get there. Boswell could. Crosby is not a Hall of Famer. No, Mason Crosby's not a Hall of Famer. Aubrey Samuel-Altenberg, I can see that. Yeah, Boswell's got a chance. Boswell's at 309 attempts. He's at 88%. Boswell's got a chance to break Tucker's percentage record, potentially. He's got a chance. Go, the Ravens doing the right thing because the NFL wasn't going to? Oh, I'm not sure if it's the Ravens doing the right thing. If you look at the statement that they put out, it had nothing to do with off the field stuff. If you look at the statement that the Ravens put out, I'll put it up on the screen again. There's 2 kickers, so there will be 3 with Vinatieri. Vinatieri will be the 3rd. And Luke Rose is in the Hall, so really, and George Blanda, but that's a little bit different. Connor with the fire, appreciate you, man. Any correlation with the sun drop from Tucker and him knowing the allegations come out? I don't think so. Because again, the allegations, it was the worst kept secret for years in Baltimore. There were tweets back in 2020, 2021 that Tucker was doing this to women, that he was banned from every massage parlor in Baltimore. There were a ton of rumors for a while. I don't think it had anything to do with that. And again, there were no rumors in 2023 that weren't known in 2020 or 2021, and he was awful that year. He made the Pro Bowl, but that was off name alone. Again, he only made 1 kick from 50+. And I think that was from 50 on the dot. Matt Prater, will he retire? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, Stenrud's in, Morton Anderson is in. If you want to count Luvato, Groza, George Blanda, if you want to count them, although they played a few ways. Vinatieri will get in. Tucker, it's going to be an interesting case. Right now, 79% of you agree with the decision by the Ravens to release Tucker. And if you like what you see, folks, hit that like button, subscribe, post the channel down. But again, going back to... Oops, wrong thing. Why is it doing that? Going back to this statement. I think Aubrey could break the record, yes. Any other person that should be in the Hall aside from Ray Guy? I would have no problem with Leckler. I have no problem with Leckler being in the Hall of Fame. I think Leckler's got a case. But if you look at the statement, the Ravens, they made it very clear this has nothing to do with off-the-field stuff. They made it very clear there's nothing to do with off-the-field stuff. And if you look at if you look at the statement with Ray Rice, Brandon Aubrey, he's a Cowboys kicker. If you look at the statement with Ray Rice, obviously different situation. There was video evidence of that, but when the Ravens released Ray Rice after the video, they made it very clear they released him because of video. It wasn't football reasons. This is football reasons. They drafted a kicker, and Tucker did not play well last year. The allegations are just the cherry on top. They were the cherry on top. Again, I don't know. Based on this statement, that makes it very clear it was football related. Based on what they did in the second round drafting Green, I don't know. If Tucker hit 88% of his kicks last year, they're not putting this out. They're not putting this out. That is true, Gamana. That is true. That is true. There's a lot of evidence, though. There's a lot of evidence so far. Is Sirianni officially the worst coach with a ring? Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer's just high on that one. Barry Switzer's the worst. But again, if you look at the statement, football decisions, and they made it very clear that's the very first thing. There was no ambiguity. They could have said, we thank Justin Tucker for all our years of service with the Ravens. We've decided to go in a different direction. They made it very clear. There's no ambiguity. It's a football decision. It is a football decision, which I feel like you kind of had to do it like that because the allegations have been known for quite some time. There were tweets going as far back as 2020, even before that, if I'm not mistaken, where it was a well-kept, it was a very well-known secret that Tucker was banned from lawn massage parlors and whatnot. Tucker, the third best kicker ever? It's weird. In terms of peak or longevity. Yeah, this is again, they drafted a kicker. You're not carrying two, and there's no controversy now going into camp. There's not going to be, Tyler Loop's going to have someone looking over his shoulder in camp, the greatest Raven kicker of all time, one of the greatest in NFL history, looking over his shoulder. There's now no pressure on Loop, relatively speaking. And they've been involved in release of two controversial players in different decades. They have been. Why am I taking a PR statement at face value? Oh, no. So here's the thing. I did class on PR. I work on communications. They made it very clear that it was football related. What I'm saying is that the PR statement, what I'm saying with that is that I don't think they would have cut him if he was playing well. I think they were going to sweep this under the rug if he was playing well, like they had done the previous few years. James of the Tour, they wanted to avoid Tucker suing, I bet. I could see that. Although it'd be tough because you could easily argue you got cut because you cost too much money, and you were 30th out of 36 eligible kickers last year in that. You were eligible. He wouldn't have much of a case to sue. Be like, hey, look, salary's kind of tight. You're making a lot of money. You were 30th last year. So they didn't have to, obviously I didn't expect the PR statement. Yeah, bad time. Yes, it was very bad timing. I didn't expect the statement to say we have decided after looking at the allegations to cut him. I didn't expect that. But what I did not expect, I put it to the world again already. Appreciate you, James. What I did not expect was the Ravens to say in the first three words, football decisions. I expected something a bit more with a bit more ambiguity, saying we've decided to part ways with Tucker. We thank him for his years of service with the Ravens. But they made it very clear football. Will Tyler be good? He was good in college. I liked him a lot in Arizona. Mr. E with a tour saying football decision a lot, he becomes sus. I think so. There is something about that where if you draw attention to it so much, it's like, wait, why are you drawing attention to it? Why are you doing it? Thoughts on DC 27 draft. I'm excited for it. I'm excited too because we can Amtrak to it from New York. That'll be nice. So you don't have to worry about going through TSA and waiting at long lines at airports. It's going to get 1 million people at the National Mall. It's going to be a lot. Have there remaining many successful lawsuits over NFL cuts? Not many. There are some examples, but it's really, you go back to the 80s. You got to go back. There were cases where one of the big ones was McCollum in 1982 with the Seahawks. He was a good player. He was cut, but he was also the representative for the NFLPA for the Seahawks, and the Seahawks basically cut him in retaliation. That's one of the, and that was pretty blatantly obvious. Was White come on? I'm not sure. Mystery, which game do you want me to do? Do you want to do White Sox Orioles on Wednesday night, Orioles Twins, or Tigers Rockies? Yeah, it was going back to 2014. Yeah, Kevin, it went back to 2014. Starting the draft station in DC. Depends who the Jaguars draft. DC was Super Bowl probably in the 2030s. Probably 2032, be my guess. Because it'll be open in 2030 is my guess. So you got to have a year. You got to have a year for that. So it takes like very obvious collusion almost with like Sam McCullum in the 1980s with the Seahawks, where he was an NFL PA rep. So Tucker wouldn't really have any case here. Yeah, third best kicker at his peak. I mean, you can make the argument he's the best kicker at his peak. You can make the best kicker. You can make the argument he was the best kicker of all time at his peak. Yeah, but they drafted Tyler. Yep. You knew it was coming. I mean, I said in the vlog. I was literally, when I did my day 3 vlog, I was in the bathroom when it happened, so I didn't get to videotape, but I literally heard it while I was in the bathroom, and I said while walking out, yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, they were trained, but you're saying overnight. Yes. Yeah, but it's more, I would go, Orioles, perfect. All right, get you on the Orioles. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Ted Shell, please ignore Cleveland's new kicker. Jeez. I know you're good, Nick. You're good. It's not like it's literally an emergency stream. I did not say it was going live. Should Tucker still get in the hall? It's close. It's awfully close. Obviously, it depends on the allegations because they're not on the same level as Jim Tyrer killing a person or Darren Sharp or raping someone. It's not on the same level as that. Like, he's not going to get jail time for this. The problem with Tucker is going to be kickers. He did not have a long career compared to other guys that were kickers. Should Ravens trust a rookie? I mean, you got to trust someone. The problem is that when it comes to, I'll put a poll up, because 76% of you agree with the decision to cut Tucker. Now, let me put a second poll up. Do you agree? Do you think he's a Hall of Famer? Is Justin Tucker a Hall of Famer? Again, only 2 kickers are in the modern era. Stenerud and Anderson. Obviously, there will be a third. With Adam Vinatieri. But should there be a fourth? I will put the poll up. I'll let you guys do that. Tucker, I don't think he's getting picked up. Jags draft, I like it. I like Travis Hunter a lot. I like the 3rd round pick out of West Virginia. I love that. Nick with a fire. Appreciate you, man. Which game do you want me to do? I'll get you on the call for it. Boz is the best kicker in the history of the sport. Jags prediction for 50 plus. Oh, I love Boswell. Boswell is incredible. Boswell is amazing, and he's right up there with Tucker in terms of field goal percentage. Especially, you got to consider with Chris Boswell, the stadium he's kicking in. That stadium has given kickers fits. It's not like he's inflating his stats. If anything, he had better stats if he didn't kick in Pittsburgh. I mean, that stadium is probably the hardest stadium in the NFL to kick in, and he is incredible. He's incredible. OJ say Sarah gets in, that's 2 different things. That's 2 very different things. OJ was already in the hall before everything happened. Tucker, not. Yeah, it's pretty split down the middle right now. Well, now it's 65%, but we're going to keep it open. Which game do you want, Nick? I'll get into the call for. Appreciate you, man. White Sox, Royals, Twins, or Tigers, Rockies? Which game do you want me to do? Yeah, Vinatieri's going to get. I'm not worried about that. He'll get in the next 5 years. He made it to the finals on the first ballot, so that's a really good sign. He's going to get in. So that's not the issue. Again, Tucker, the thing with Hall of Fame, you can look at it one hand. Best kicker in NFL history at his peak. He made 60-yard kicks look like 40-yard kicks. Made so many clutch kicks. For a lot of people, there was not any kicker you would trust more than Justin Tucker with your life on it. I remember, to show you how good Tucker was, the Jaguars-Ravens game in 2022. If you remember that game where the Jaguars got a 2-point conversion to win the game, they went for 2 at the very end, a late drive by Trevor Lawrence, won the game on a 2-point try. Doug Peterson was dumb enough to squib kick, and the Ravens were going to line up for a 68-yard field goal. Your choice? All right, or pull it. Yeah, we'll just split down the middle because we got this poll lining up. We'll just split down the middle. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. The 5 allegations again. Those were a thing. Everything that happened there wasn't on the level, and obviously the welfare fraud thing, that was when he got into the Hall of Fame already. That's when he got into the Hall of Fame. Again, OJ. The thing with OJ, you're not taking a guy out because it's where do you draw the line, especially because in the court of law, in terms of criminal, he was proven he was innocent. Now, granted, you could debate how competent the lawyers were on the other side. But, yeah, team, I don't think he's going to pick him up. I don't think the team's going to pick him up. Again, he's on the decline. It'd be different if he was hitting 85% of his kicks last year. He wasn't. He was 30th out of 36 kickers. I'm going to say I don't think Tucker gets in. I don't think Tucker gets in the Hall of Fame. How's it going, Hellspawn? Appreciate you tuning in. Because I don't think his peak is long enough compared to other kickers. The other thing with Tucker, again, the peak not long enough, is obviously the allegations. But at his peak, he was incredible. At his peak, no one can deny that. I mean, no one's made more All-Pros No one's made more all-pros than Justin Tucker as a kicker. The record was 3 before Tucker. He's got 5 first-team all-pros. And it was an AP second-team all-pro through 3 times. I don't think Boz can make the Hall of Fame, but that's just because the bar is so high for kickers. On Pete Rose things, but, I mean, Pete Rose, that wasn't a personal affair. That was he bet on baseball. That was he cheated. That was he destroyed the integrity of the game. That's very different than personal affair. The problem with Tucker is the fall-off. I think if Tucker just had no controversy and had a regular fall-off, not a drastic one where he was one of the worst kickers in football. Bo Jackson, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. Did not play long enough. Electric player, but no, not even close. Miami Super Bowl draft in the next 5 years? I don't know about draft, but Super Bowl they will. Super Bowl they will. Super Bowl they will. That's fair, Jason. That's a fair argument. I think the question is, where do you draw the line? I think the question is, once you start kicking people out, it gets a very slippery slope at that point. It becomes a very slippery slope. But Justin Tucker, obviously, if you're just joining us, just got released by the Baltimore Ravens. It is an ongoing situation. And, again, there is an ongoing investigation still with the NFL. So, I would be stunned if he gets signed before the investigation is done. Jake Elliott rebound? I think so. He played very well in the postseason. Hands down Hall of Famer, best kicker of all time, not a Ravens fan either. I mean, at his peak, he was. At his peak, he absolutely was. Are the allegations against Tucker true? I don't know if they're true or not. They're still doing the investigation. But this is more about Tucker was terrible last year. Again, 30th out of 36 kickers, and they drafted Tyler Loop. They drafted him. So no one's going to sign Tucker before the thing is done. Before the investigation is done, because why would you sign a kicker who was on the decline and was 30th in the league last season, and his leg is fallen off. He can't hit from 50 anymore, reliably. Why would you sign him while an investigation's ongoing? Now, having said that, I should know this is a post-June 1st cut. So technically, he will be on the Ravens for another month. It is a post-June 1st cut. They're going to create $4.2 million in salary cap savings. Well, I don't think Tucker will retire. He wants to play. You want to vote him in and kick him out? That's an interesting way to do it. That's an interesting way. Cordell Patterson to the Hall as a return specialist. Nah, great, but I look at him the same way I do Brian Mitchell. I think you got to have, for a return specialist, because of how few snaps you play, you got to be elite at your peak, like Hester was. And Patterson, great player, has the longevity, but I think he's like the Frank Gore of kick returners almost, if that makes sense. Right, this is about him being bad. Yeah, exactly. They drafted Green in the second round, even despite amount of evidence against him. Talk about the CFL? I don't think so. Even despite amount of evidence against him. And they made it very clear in the statement. Made it extremely clear in the statement, football-related reasons. Yeah, Jake Elliott will come back. Yes, he will. And Elliott was playing through nagging injury. Yeah, last year was weird. Last year was weird for Elliott. I think he'll be okay, especially because the playoffs, he played very well. Played very well in the playoffs last year. The O.J. Murray trial occurred before he was inducted to the Hall of Fame. If he was still declared innocent, would he still be inducted? I think so, because he was that dominant of a running back. I think so. Emmett Terry wasn't chosen for Patriots Hall of Fame today. Went to NL1. Bad day for kickers. Very bad day for kickers. Jake Elliott, best kicker in the NFL. No, not even close. No, not even close. No, it's not even remotely close on that. No, best kicker in the NFL. I'm probably Boswell or Aubrey or. I love Cam Little. I mean, there's a lot of good players. Say Chargers. Not even close on that one. Thoughts on the Barstool Sports story? Yeah, thank God thank God everyone got fired on that one. Thank God there's no place for anti-Semitism. There's no place for that. So, thank God everyone got fired, and thank God appropriate action is being taken. And I like how Portner was handling it. Under 50 field goal, that's below par in the NFL. Yep. Again, Tucker last year 73% from field goal range, or on field goals, 30th out of 36 kickers. Is Koo the second best kicker after Aubrey? I would say no. I like Dicker a lot. I would say Cameron Dicker. No, Elliott's not top 5 yet. Boswell, I would say right now the top 3 is Aubrey, Boswell, and Dicker. I would say right now, when Barstool basically there was a bar in Pennsylvania, and bar in Pennsylvania, they do bottle service there. You can write a message on the bottle service and whatnot. You can write a message, and people do like happy birthday or congratulations on retirement or whatnot. And this person, and somehow the staff approved this. This person, and they got it on video too. This person decided to do the bottle service, write up a message saying "F the Jews," and yeah, then they got it on video. The Barstool staff that worked at the bar They put it on the they allowed the message to happen. They put it on the bottle service, and there were people, and like it was yeah, it was bad. It was bad, and everyone got fired for it. And the person, they went to Temple. They've now been expelled, and there's an ongoing investigation with everyone that was involved in that video. So, and Portnoy fired everyone that was involved with it, and he is sending, or he's sending the people who did it to Auschwitz to have a history lesson. So, I think Portnoy handled it very well. But yeah, it was just a crazy situation that happened this past week. Oh, yeah, it's a kill. Oh, even worse. Not that other one's good, but it's even worse. Riker going to be one of the best kickers? I'm not sure. Elliott top 15? Not yet. Greatest long snapper. I think the consensus might be DOC. Yeah, it might be DOC. I think DOC. Yeah, Raphael Septien. Yeah, that was an incident too. Lance Redstall. The Cowboys had a few of those back in the day. Lance Redstall and whatnot. Tucker's not Hall of Fame. He did what he was accused of. Yeah, if he did what he's accused of, it's going to be very hard to get. And having said that, they're doing an ongoing investigation right now. They're doing an ongoing investigation with Tucker. No one's going to sign him until the investigation's done. Ravens Hall of Famer? I would say yes on that. I would say depends on the investigation, but I mean, in terms of talent, he absolutely is a Ravens Hall of Famer. In terms of talent, he absolutely is a Ravens Hall of Famer. Yeah, Ku borderline top 5. He was being consistent, but yeah, I do like Ku a lot. He's top 10. He is top 10. D-Vex Mets, yeah, I'm going to that game. We're going to start the overtime stream probably like 6:30 Eastern time, because obviously this guy took priority. Rafael Septien, if I'm not mistaken, it was something with underage. Yeah, mishandling a minor. Grand jury indicted him on the charge of mishandling a minor. Yes, it was something with an underage. Deshaun be cut next. No, too much money. Watch the Browns pick up Tucker. We got to see what the investigation does, but hasn't stopped them before. But again, it's tough because this guy's going to be 36 years old. He's going to be 36 years old this season. And he's not good. He's not good anymore. That's the thing. Sanders is good. Yeah, Lance Renzel is something indecent. Yes, he did. Frack Hawks make the Hall of Fame for name under football. As a contributor, I have no problem with it. You know what, the Ravens roster from 2012? Yeah, he was the last guy from that Super Bowl team. He was the last guy from that team that won Super Bowl 47. Blankenship, yeah, so Blankenship's going to get a job. Blankenship, the way he's kicking the UFL, he's perfect. He's going to be, I think San Fran should get him. I think San Fran or Cleveland. Jaden Newsfit, I'm not sure yet. I mean, because we're doing this live stream. I might do a JJ Newsfit on his Hall of Fame case and whatnot after this. Spend 4 games if a team signs him. They have to, yeah, they're going to do the investigation, but the problem, too, is that if you sign a kicker and he's suspended for, let's say, 4 games after investigation or 6 games or whatever it is, if you do that, and then what happens if the kicker, you need a kicker for the first 4 games, so why not just roll with him? How's it going, Bob? Welcome to the chat. How much shock was I find out about the release? The fact that they released him, I didn't expect the timing. Like, obviously, it's an emergency live stream for a reason. I didn't wake up today thinking the Ravens are going to cut Tucker today. But that they released him, not at all. Not even remotely shocked. Again, they drafted a kicker. We knew it was coming in terms of the cap savings, the allegations. 30th in the league out of 36 kickers last year. In terms of qualified field goal percentage. He's not good from 50 plus anymore. I'm not surprised he got cut. Not surprised. Next year, he's not sure yet. Probably this week. Which non-so-controversial kicker should the Bears sign? I like Blankenship a lot. I think Blankenship is going to be really good. Somehow I doubt Nick Adams said that. Ravens went out to pasture? Yep, think of the rabbits, baby. Think of the rabbits. And we do these emergency live streams as well. Anytime any breaking news happens that I feel like we need to go live for, I feel like it's of interest to a lot of people. And we ran a lot of people in the chat right now, which is awesome. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you like what you see, folks, hit that like button, subscribe, helps out on the channel. Yeah, you never played again. Yep. In DC with the channel, yeah, they'll do it. You plead guilty to that, you should never play again. I mean, there's 0 tolerance for doing anything with a minor. So yeah, that destroyed Septien's career, and understandably so. But then again, Septien was not playing great when the thing happened. I mean, he was hitting about 70% of his kicks. So the things that people overlook, keep in mind, like Raphael Septien, obviously what he did in 1986 was absolutely heinous. No one's denying that. But it's not defensive Septien, obviously. What I'm saying is that he was Septien was not the kicker that he was when the Cowboys moved on from him. Septien was pretty much middle of the pack. He was not one of the top kickers in football like he was at the start of the decade. Rob with the tier, Luke must perform well at rookie minicamp. Yeah, or they were just trying to get ahead of this. I could absolutely see that. Which game do you want, Robert? Appreciate you on the call for it. Better than Vinatieri's kicker? In terms of peak, yes. Longevity, no. Peak, yes. I think he had the best prime of any kicker ever. Yeah, the best prime of any kicker ever. 70%. It was right around the league average. It was right around the league average. So he was like right middle of the road. 70% now is atrocious. But he was 71.4, and he was 14th out of 30 kickers. It was right there. Ravens full all yeller? Seems that way. Coach 5 years ago, that I don't think that's going to happen. Matt Ryan came in, not even close. No. Matt Ryan's not a Hall of Famer. Cam Newton's definitely not a Hall of Famer. Yeah, but Luke, when they drafted him, they had to know. They had to know. When they drafted Luke, they knew Tucker was done. Even if the allegation, because again, they mentioned nothing in the allegations of the PR statement. Let's make it very clear. The allegations, it's an ongoing investigation. The Ravens mentioned nothing whatsoever in their statement about allegations. They made it very clear this was an on-the-field decision based on the money he was getting. Well, they didn't bring up the money, but you had to figure that played a part in it. And the fact that he was hitting 73% of his kicks last season and was very, very inaccurate. The worst season of his career from an accuracy standpoint. I just want to show you. I want to show you how bad it was. He also missed 2 extra points. How good is he? He was good in Arizona. He was good. I just want to show you from Pro Football Reference. The league average of kickers in the 70s. Oh, in the 70s, it was like 60%. 70s, it was not good. Septien was hitting 70% of his kicks in 1986. That was around league average. Just something who's at Chinese restaurant. Oh, good, Adrian. Appreciate you tuning in. List you while grocery shopping in Northern store to sell provolone. What grocery store does sell provolone? If he won the Super Bowl, yes, he would have been a Hall of Famer. Because he's got the stats, the MVP award, a ring. He'd be a Hall of Famer. He would be a Hall of Famer. It would take some time, but he'd get in. How's it go, Miles? Welcome in the chat. But if you look at this, this is the percentage of Justin Tucker kicks made. I'm going to blow this up for you. I mean, this is a shocking fall off. Shocking. 73%. It's atrocious. Every other season is about league average or around league average. Atrocious. 73%. It's hard to justify keeping any veteran kicker on the wrong side of 30, closer to 40 than 30 at this point. Hard to justify keeping anyone, let alone a guy with all these allegations against him. It's very hard to justify that. And the Ravens, I'm not surprised they cut ties. I'm not surprised whatsoever that they cut ties with him. Because again, once you get bad as a kicker, it's very hard to right the ship. It's very hard to have a second wind. There are some exceptions. I remember Mason Crosby was absolutely crap that one year in 2012, and then just came back and was incredible after that. But it's very rare. Once Father Time's undefeated. Not that 35, 36 is old by anyone. Lamar Jackson, we see what Cam Newton, Michael Vick, and Randall Cunningham were hyped up to be. Well, I don't think that's fair to Cunningham, because Cunningham was great. But yeah, Lamar Jackson is like incredible. Lamar Jackson's incredible. To remind me closer to 40? My man, I'm 40. Oh man. Yeah, he's closer to 40 than 30. It's scary for me. I'm closer to 30 than 20 at this point. Kickers the most important positions in football? They're up there. They're definitely up there. They're unsung heroes. You know about most important? Because quarterback probably is way more important, but you need a good kicker. You need a good kicker to win in this league, and the Ravens very clearly did not have a good kicker. Boswell, 2018. There was one year Boswell was not that good. Was it 2018? Yeah, 65%, yes. Now, granted, that season, just like Crosby, it was his late 20s. But it's very rare. I think McManus might be a better example. No, but he's still on the. No, McManus is still fine. McManus is still on the. He's not as old as I thought. He's only 33. He's not as old as I thought. Once kickers get bad, it's very hard for them to become good again. It's very hard. Once you're past 35, if you decline past 35, odds are you're not going to bounce back at 36. Especially with the leg. The thing is that it's not like his leg was still the same. It'd be one thing if his leg was still the same and he was, 73%, but he was 50% from 50 plus, 50% from 60 plus. He was hitting a 62-yard. No, he has not been that way. He has not been that way. Cade York, is he still in the NFL? Last time I checked, he was. Last time I checked, I mean, he was with the... He'll get picked up by someone. He's with the Bengals. He's still with the Bengals after the McPherson injury. I'm assuming he's not going to play with the Bengals next year. They'll go with McPherson. Yeah, kicker position got hyper-competitive. It's not just signing a European plumber anymore. No, it is not. It's highly specialized now. Yeah, I remember that game against the Saints. I think that was the week the Jaguars played the Steelers. I remember watching that in a hotel room. I think that was November. I think it was the Jaguars played the Steelers that week. That was the crazy comeback by Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Greg, the Lego Hall of Famer, not even close. Not even close on that one, no. No. He underachieved a bit in his Eagle years? Yeah, he had no offensive line, though. He had no offensive line to work with in the Eagle years, and Buddy Ryan did not help at all. Like, Randall Cunningham, if he won the ring in 98, probably could be a Hall of Famer. He won the ring in 98, he could be a Hall of Famer. So, yeah, so if you're just joining us, we'll hop off in about 10 minutes. I'm going to have a video that comes out in an overtime stream at 6:30, where we'll answer more questions, and we will mess around and do some... Take your questions and your donations and whatnot, and your requests and reactions and whatnot. Well, if I predict the future again, that he did. Massive flag on that one. So if you're just joining us, the Ravens officially announced today they're releasing Justin Tucker. A money grab, just like a Riza? No. This is multiple people. Again, this is going back to 2014. This is every massage parlor in Baltimore. Again, innocent until proven guilty, but this is not one person saying something. This is a bunch of different people corroborating the same story. That this is a pattern that goes back over a decade. It was a very, very well-known secret. People were tweeting about it years before the NFL came out and before it came to light in the national scope. My view, someone takes a chance on if there's kicker struggles to start the season, not saying he should. I don't know. They might. Depends on the length of the suspension, and depends on the findings that the NFL has. Yeah, K. York free agent. He'll get picked up by someone. LeBron not going to Metcalf because of his knee. Well, Metcalf is awful, so I don't have any problem with anyone not going to Metcalf. Seattle getting a player lifetime ban. Yes, Dexter Manley. But that's usually for drug use. I think Stanley Wilson also got that. Really, you saw lifetime bans a lot in the 1980s at the very end when cocaine was a huge problem. And these guys were constantly doing cocaine, and they've been caught like 3 or 4 times. How's it going, Luke? Open chat. Appreciate you tuning in. Took 20 years to say something. No, it didn't take 20. It didn't take 20 years. This is one of those things that it was a well-known secret all around Baltimore that Tucker had been banned from massage parlors. Let me he's been accused by 16 different people. This is not one person. This is 16 different people. And why would they not want his business? Why would... You have to remember, too, with a guy like Justin Tucker, why would you not want his business? Because he's making a lot of money. He probably would tip pretty well. You want the publicity, too, of, hey, like we're so good, we have a Raven that comes to us for treatment. Like, it's one of those things, why would you not want it, why would you not want his services? Like, it's one of those things where, you know what I mean? You know what I mean on that one? How the general public now I feel like it should come out sooner. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not sure. It was known around Baltimore, but not around the rest. Yeah, that I think that's illegal, Zach. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that's illegal. Hang on. Let me see if I can go on the Twitter archives. Do advanced search. We're going all the way on this one from 2010. Like, this was pretty well known. I want to see what the first thing I can find on. But it was before 2024. This is not like they all came out at once. All right. Hang on. Give me a second here, guys. Give me a second. Yeah, look, here's a tweet from 2021. November 29th. Oh, look, Cujo's the first comment. Oh, God. Cujo's in the chat. Here you go. This is from 2021. Justin Tucker is canceled, but it's not my place to provide the reason. Let's just say it's been telling many massage places to never come back. November 29th, 2021. So... let's just say this was well known. This was tweeted out. Let's see if we go back to 23 on this. Yeah, I can go back to 23, but like that's a very specific thing, and it was corroborated by a few people, and then it obviously it blew up after that. It blew up after that. So there obviously this is one of those where obviously it's proven guilty, but when there's smoke, there's fire. And again, the Ravens, when they released him, said it was a release based on football-related reasons, especially after they drafted Green in the second round, despite all the allegations against him. I don't think they would have cut Tucker if it wasn't costing him a lot of money and he was 30th. If it was that serious, why didn't he get arrested? Could just be a matter of pressing charges and whatnot. Could be a matter of pressing charges, banned from the facility. Also, it's tough to prove sort of like that for like to rise to a criminal thing. I mean, it could have been that serious if he didn't get arrested. Well, by that logic, Deshaun Watson, he didn't do anything wrong because he didn't get arrested. Yeah, by that logic, that's not a good argument. And most a lot of people don't want to relive that. A lot of people, because you press charges and you go to court, you have to relive that moment, and it brings up a lot of trauma. And a lot of people don't do that. Plus, yeah, civil cases. It's a civil thing too. The draft news, yes, in 27, I'm excited for it. Like banning harm from strip clubs, yeah, that's pretty much like what it would be like for you to ban an athlete from a facility who's making a lot of money and is a legend in the area. He must have done something really handsome for 16 people to do that. This is one of those where it's not one person. But again, the Ravens made very clear they cut him because he was not good anymore. With 27 draft, I'm excited for it. The National Mall. I think someone brought up, do you think the draft at the National Mall could happen? I said, yeah, it could. I didn't think it was going to be 27. I thought it was going to be Denver. So I think Denver's going to be 28 now. This kind of came out of nowhere. These kind of came out of nowhere with the draft. I thought for sure it was going to be Denver and then Buffalo 28. But worst QB room in the NFL, probably the Browns. Joe Flacco is washed up. Kenny Pickett sucks. Dylan Gabriel's no arms. Shedeur Sanders. We already know what Shedeur's thing is. That's a bad QB room. It's a really bad room. Cinco de Mayo. Yep. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all those who celebrate. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all those who celebrate. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in for this stream. Again, emergency live stream. Yeah, the Ravens are going to say, do our player potential dirtbag and us want to get eyes off of his... Yeah, well, they weren't going to say that. I never said they were going to say that. But they made it very clear in the first statement that it was football reasons. Minnesota hosting draft? Yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it. They made football decisions. They could have easily said, we have decided to release Justin Tucker. We thank him for his years of service with the Ravens. We've decided to go in a different direction. Like, you didn't have to say, obviously, with the allegations and whatnot. Yeah, Red Rocks, it couldn't work. What is its amphitheater hold, like 14K? It's outgrown theaters at this point. Is East Series run up to Green Bay? I thought Denver was runner-up. But Denver might have been runner-up to Pittsburgh. But yeah, they made it very clear in the first statement of football decisions. They easily... Every word in a PR statement is crafted carefully. Especially because they knew this was coming for weeks on end. After they drafted Luke, they knew this was coming. We all knew they were getting a kicker this season. We all knew that they were going to have a new kicker in 25. I think most of us did. I'm definitely not Mexican. I'm definitely not. Yeah, fire with the ranking. Yeah, we're going to sign off in like 5 minutes, but Ravens are arguing for a 41-year-old quarterback to make a decision. Any day now, Rodgers. Any day now. But all, like every word is carefully crafted in a PR statement. And the fact that it leads off with football decisions and made it very clear that it was a football thing, I think that tells you a lot. I think that tells you a lot about the organization. It tells you a lot about it. Brad's going to come back with 5 quarterbacks. There's no way we can lose. Yep. That's great logic. Sports teams posting thank you fans after losing a heartbreaking game. Well, that's after the playoffs. That's after the playoffs. It's not a heartbreaking game. It's after they lose the, after they go out in the playoffs. I get it, but I think it's one of those you have to wait a day. I think it's one of those where you have to wait a day. It's one of those where not really the best timing to do it right after a loss. Like, I don't really want your thanks. We have a day, once you sleep it off, be like, thank you for being there this season. I mean, it's better than what the Lightning did after the loss to the Blue Jackets. Better than that. Of all the approaches, that's probably the worst one to take. So yeah. So yeah, if you were just joining us for this stream, we've been on for over 45 minutes at this point. It's been a fun stream, talking all this through. Obviously, let's see the results. I'm going to close the result here, the poll here, And 63% of you think Justin Tucker is a Hall of Famer. It's going to be close, 62%. Yeah, thank you, fans, who say are funny. The replies are also great. Tree Steelers will be much watched when Rodgers signs the Steelers. Oh, they will be. They will be. I think the problem right now, and a lot of content creators sometimes face this, is that, not that I want it, but there's a thing where, like, the better you are, the worse your team is, the better it is for you in terms of a content creator. Like, it is better for the Steelers to be 3-14 and Rodgers just imploding than they be 9-8 in terms of Tree and the content you get out of it. There is something to that, where the worst thing you could be is a fan of a mediocre team. You're a good team where everyone watches you, that's one thing. You're a bad team where they can't ignore how bad you are. There is something to, like, when you have a circus in town. Watching this Barry Owners House, building a new stadium. Well, they just approved it. It's going to happen. It's going to be built by 2030 probably. Talking to the Browns, we'll see. Let's see what the investigation does. Yeah, the final score graph and they get ratioed. I love that. That's always funny. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to have a new video dropping in literally 5 minutes' time. I was literally uploading it, and the video is done. Yeah, now the Broncos are decent. He's more sane. Yep, I'm way more sane when the Jaguars are decent. I was a wreck in 21 when Urban Meyer was just destroying my will to live. But the game plan is this. The game plan is this. We're going to have a new video dropping in 5 minutes. The video is literally done. I can literally show you. The video is literally done. I just have to put in the details for it. It's literally done. Then the news came out with Tucker, and I'm like, yeah, we gotta take care of this. But yeah, the video is literally done. The video is literally done. So I just have to publish it. So 5 minutes, and then that will come out. We're going to do our overtime stream at 6:30. We moved it back 30 minutes because obviously this news kind of took part of it. So we're going to do an OT stream, and that is where I'm going to listen to your requests and whatnot, and we'll talk about a lot of stuff. You can ask me any questions. Rain down New York for the week. We rained down New York. I'm not sure. I don't live in New York. I live in Arizona. So, but I know it was pretty bad last night in New York. I know the weather was pretty bad. So that's the game plan. We're going to have another stream in 30 minutes. We'll answer all your questions. We'll talk more about Tucker, talk about the DC draft, whatever you want to do. And we're going to do requests and whatnot with overtime, ChatGPTs and whatnot. If you've never been to an overtime stream, it's a lot of fun. So appreciate all you guys tuning in. JG9 signing off. 6:30 Eastern time. Yes, so 30 minutes from now. Appreciate you guys tuning in. JG9 signing off. New video dropping in 5 minutes. Next stream in 30 minutes. No, 6:30 Eastern time. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys for joining us again. The breaking news, the Baltimore Ravens, after being with the team since 2012, have officially let go of longtime kicker, the most accurate kicker in NFL history,